Hi everybody, it's Thea. Welcome back to Garden Goddess Tarot, and welcome back to the nice weather. I think the snow finally melted. It's like my signal, my sign, when the snow is finally gone. And I'm pretty sure in the weather forecast we're not getting another dumping anytime soon. I am safe and able to release myself to the feelings of excitement and anticipation for the warmer weather that is to come. That is to stay. I'm still out there putting fire in the firebox every morning so the house isn't freezing, but I can tell it's lessening up. The sun is shining in a warm way on your face. The grass is starting to green up underneath the brown. The birds are back, flying around, twittering away first thing in the morning, and it's such a lovely sound. And most importantly, I can smell the earth again. And I think that's a really big thing for me that I miss deeply in the wintertime when everything's frozen. Even if there's if the snow is kind of blown away and you can see the ground, you can't smell it anymore. And that it adds an extra layer of removal to it, and I just feel so not connected if I can't have the full sensory experience, right? So as soon as the frost starts to come out of the ground and you can really smell the earth, that petrichor smell, it feels more like it's the time of year. So that being said, this is the spring deck list. These are the decks that I'm bringing out specifically. I haven't started working with any of them except maybe one or two as of yet, but they're out and they're have been intentionally selected to kind of fit how I'm currently feeling about this time of year. So it should be a fun time, so let's get into it. So I'm going to start off with kind of the tail end of winter, kind of feeling that's still kind of there. And this is one of the ones that I have actually been using the last week or so, and I think it's going to linger on for a little while later, and that is this one. This is the Murder of Crows Tarot, Corrado Roy. It was featured in the Black and White Decks video because it is a classic and amazing black and white deck, and it fits this time of year. The birds are back, the crows are back. They're lining the sides of the road in 2s and 3s, squawking away, poking it at who knows what. That's the least pleasant card in the deck. I could do without that one, but indeed it's something to think about, and when it comes up it always has something very specific to say. But this deck really captures that it captures crow energy in a really fun and interesting way. It's a mood. It pairs well with so many other things also because of its beautiful black and white nature, and the descriptions, the little paragraph write-ups in the book are really unique and really set the tone for the type of kind of, I don't know, it's an uncomfortable kind of reading where you kind of want to wiggle your elbows around inside the thoughts that it kind of gives you, but it's really good. And it's a great one for this time of year entirely, especially if you take particular notice of the crows. So that is the Murder of Crows Tarot by Corrado Roy. Nice little mass market Los Scarabeo deck. I will do my best not to linger too long on each of these because we've got quite a few to get through today, and I don't want this to be 2 hours long. So that's that guy. A great, fun, very seasonal, very atmospherically appropriate deck. And then kind of tailing on to that dark pause, that kind of echoing liminal space that is the end of winter, beginning of spring, right before anything has really started to grow, which I'm sure some of you, if you're in warmer places than me, you're already fully experiencing the lush growth that is, the daffodils and the hellebores and the crocuses, but they're not out yet here. I'm still waiting. I must sit and be so patient. So we're still in that liminal space of absence and emptiness, kind of that hollow space that is ready to be filled. So there's an anticipation there, but in that dark hollow space, the dark decks are still filling my heart. So the Mausolea Oracle of Souls has been a fun taste, and it really ties in that underworld energy that is related to this time of year for various reasons, based on various belief systems, but It's a fun one. Again, it covers a ton of different pantheons. It has kind of guide-like energy of it, or at least character energy, personified, as opposed to being more ephemeris, more intangible, or more nature-related, which we'll notice a lot of the other decks on here have kind of a more disembodied nature feel to them, or are just kind of more of a vibe. This is specifically more of a guide and character kind of archetypal deck, which is fun as we as we're working our way through the darkness, as we see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I've been liking it. The questions I've been asking it, it's been answering in a kind of cheeky way. So far, the deck itself has been a bit cheeky, but I think it's good. And it really, it kind of, if you're looking to embody the Persephone energy of this time of year, and that kind of coming up from the depths of the underworld, you've got to be in the underworld first. So putting yourself there with a deck like this, or even the Murder of Crows, kind of has that between the worlds kind of feel about it. These are great for that, and I like them. So that is the Mausolea Oracle of Souls deck by Jason Engel. And it's one in my spring basket right now, and I'm not mad about. Jumping swiftly, not tangentially, it's not tangent, it's in line with, alongside that energy, we've got the Red Seeds Tarot, and of course it had to come out this time of year. It's kind of, it punctuates for 2 times of the year for me, when Persephone comes back and when Persephone goes back down, and that's kind of a good place for this deck to sit. Obviously I could use it whenever, but it feels more right to use it right now. This is by Linda Hill. This is a beautiful indie deck that is a full-on tarot that captures the energy of the Eleusinian mystery tradition, the Persephone and Demeter myth, while staying true to the tarot as well. So it's a beautiful one to work with this time of year. And it's time. She was screaming at me. She's like, I should be out already. I'm like, I know. I'm coming. It's been a weird time for me. I'm coming out of hibernation, and it's always hard. So we just got through Ostara. Easter weekend is this weekend. Equinox just happened. We just had our first of the eclipses in the eclipse portal. Stuff's going down. Oh, there's also this is really good if you're interested or curious about the energy of this particular set of eclipses this year. I'm always fascinated by eclipses, and it's thrilling. Kasha Tarot Map has recently done a really good video kind of breaking down the astrology of the eclipse portal. And it was so good, and I felt like she was talking right to my soul. So I'll link that video down below if you want to watch it. I highly recommend it. If you want to know a little bit more about kind of how the energy of these couple weeks are gonna play out. But we just had our full moon eclipse, and then when the new moon comes around, we'll have the solar eclipse the first week of April. So there's lots of fun things to work on. But specifically, this is a lovely emerging type of energy deck that is fantastic. I love it. And it's wonderful for this time of year. So that's the Red Seeds Tarot. Ugh, so good. I spent a lot of time with this deck last year, even in just working with the single card of the year that I pulled with it. It's amazing how much you can get out of a singular tarot card. Just one. Like one pull, and spending an entire year with one card, it can entirely change your perspective. I love leaving readings out. It's one of my favorite things to do. If I pull a good reading, I'll just leave it on the table for months and just keep coming back to it. The same question, especially if it's a big question. Same question, but just broadening the perspective of the question, pushing out the borders and the boundaries of what was asked, and then opening my mind up to the different possibilities of answers that those cards provide, instead of it just being like a quick, snappy, like, that's the message. Sometimes you do a reading and it's like, boom, that's the message. Other times you wanna let it sit for a while. You wanna ruminate on it for a while. You wanna kind of let it steep in the energy of everything, and then it has some really profound things to say. So just the infinite ways in which you can use tarot. It's contains multitudes. It's fantastic. So anyway, Red Seeds Tarot is out. It's in the basket. It's going to see the light of day. Actually, that'll be a really good one to use outside. I want to take that one outside, even though it's huge. Just bring a blanket out in the sun and just like make a pile, you know, and sit there for an hour thinking about it. And then alongside, I wanted to pull an oracle, and I picked one of the 3 Red Seeds oracles, obviously, as well. More specific, goddess energy, mythology, and the springtime just go. And I think is it the pastoral nature of Greek mythology that does it? We get that feeling, want to be, you know, wandering through the rolling hills and sun on our face, water droplets on our skin, just all that kind of energy. It really comes alive again in the spring. So there's a couple of mythology decks on here. There just has to be. So it's the time of year for it. But the Red Seeds Oracle 2 I picked specifically, and not the other 2. I'm going to stick specifically to this one. Again, also by Linda Hill, same creator as the last one. And this is the one that has the quotes from Sappho on it. So I picked specifically the Sappho quotes that I kind of wanted to sit in that kind of, that sapphic poetic space and energy, that longing, that kind of undirected lustfulness for the, you know, the juice of life. So that's what this deck does. It has the, there's no guidebook, but it has the write-ups on the back of it. There's a ton of information here. There's kind of a challenge and a gift, so an upright and reverse meaning if you want. There's a write-up about the goddess mentioned on the front. We've also got a little phrase. So here we have Psyche, I am the beauty myth. And then our little quote from Sappho on the top here says, many a beauty only lives until beauty passes by Sappho. Glamour is not beauty. Fancy. Wow. Anyway, there's a lot to be kind of explored with this one, and I'm really excited to pull her out and have some time with her. Again, very beautiful cards in more ways than one, not just aesthetically, but as you read the write-ups, as you experience the energy of the goddesses, it's beauty on all levels. Hygia here. I am healthy. What does Sappho say? Thou art the breath of my body, the blood in my veins, and the glowing pulse of my bosom. Oh, and here's Gaia. Beautiful. What do we got? With thy clear voice sounding through the silver twilight, what is the lost secret of the tacit earth? The challenge is separation, the gift is consciousness. I am earth. Stunning. Anyway, this is great. I can't wait to put this with a bunch of other decks. Make a pile. I really want to get better at mixing and matching, instead of kind of relying specifically on the energy of a deck on its own, because sometimes that happens. Sometimes we get stuck in just like using the one deck at a time, and not even thinking to kind of mix and match even with things that you don't think would match. So we're gonna see how things go. That's the Sheila Nagig, by the way. Hark, on thou threshold, hush, flurried heart in me. Was there a footfall? Did no one enter? My knees quake on the threshold. Woo! Trepidation and revelation. Oh, and Sappho has her own. I'll show you this one. This will be the last one. Sappho's got her own card. And this one, I am the muse. And she says, on a day, oh, far from now, earth will hear this voice no more. That day's not today, my friend. Not today. Beautiful. So, Red Seeds Oracle 2 is out and is going to be a beautiful spring energy to play around in. Yes, okay, we'll keep on the mythology train as well. Hellenic Oracle, we're back, baby. I've taken a huge hiatus from it. I use it sometimes in readings for others, but for me it hasn't been it, which is kind of funny. It's very rare that I'm separated from this for any bit of time, but we're back. The Hellenic Oracle is back at it. So again, Greek mythology for spring. Groundbreaking. but we are indeed back, so we're getting in it. We're feeling the elemental energy of the animistic gods. The stories they have to tell. But it feels right. It feels entirely correct. There's the dawn. Whew. So, a beautiful and fun time with all my friends. It's like coming back. Hey, there he is. It's like coming back around to my friends again. Haven't seen you guys in a while. What's new? How's it going? Tell me what you've been up to. You know, what are we gonna do together? So that one's back. That one's back in the rotation. Sorry it ever left. It was a weird winter, guys. Weird winter. And in a very similar deck in the same vein, but that also brings in flower energy, as well as a few non-Greek specific gods. This little one, I'm gonna give a go. We're gonna give a go. I've had it for a while, and it hasn't been the time. I think I picked it up in the fall. Is that correct, Christa? Let me know. And it's been waiting patiently for its time, and I think now is the beginning of its time. So this is the Divine Ephemera Oracle by Christa, Crochet Witch Tarot, Crochet Witch Wears, Christa Chronicles. The amazing Christa. We all know who she is. She's fantastic. She does so much. She's created this deck, and it is a beautiful. He's right on top. He's everywhere. Hermes and the crocuses. I cannot wait until my crocuses bloom. Let me tell you. They're like ready. They're like right there. They're like budding. They're like, I'm gonna open any day now. Good amount of sun. But actually, ooh, there's Mary. That's also that's a video for another day. We'll talk about her in a in a video another day. But this deck specifically, this one, really, it's beautiful. She's got a cute little general guidebook that gives her little definitions of the plant and the deity energy, and they're just fun. So I'm excited to play with it, to give it a good go. But yeah, very, very spring. Oh yeah, that Morpheus one was totally spring. Look at that. Psyche with her little buddy Cupid on there. Oh, it's a borage. Interesting. Delicious. Hair with the apple. Inanna, cherry blossom. Helios, the sunflower. So yeah, very, very this time of year. It feels right now. Should be Aries, right? Yes. Gladiolus. Cronus's clock vine, which I think are those cup and saucer vines? Cobia scandin, I think. Maybe. Or maybe, hold on, Million Bells. Flower names, my goodness. It's been a while. I feel like I'm out of practice. I need to get my butt down to the garden center. Zeus with Echinacea. Eos with Morning Glory. So yeah, it's fun to think about the associations between the plants and the gods as well, just to see how they line up. So that is the Divine Ephemera Oracle by Christa of Crochet Witch Wears, Crochet Witch Tarot, Christa Chronicles. Our wonderful friend Christa, and that one is going to come out to play this spring as well. Amazing. Alrighty. Ooh. Another little oracle that I'm just gonna mention really quick, because we won't spend too much time on this one, but I think it's time to bust it out as well. I've got her all tied up. We'll untie for the sake of the vid. This is the this is a sex magic oracle, and it's also time for this one. So very Ostara, very spring equinox, very Easter. It's the fertility season. So why not embrace one's own, you know, sensuality? It's time. So it's gonna come out. don't know how often we're gonna use, but I think it needs we need to just dust off the cobwebs, so to speak. So won't linger too long on that one. But this oracle is really nice. It's not a huge guy, it's just a little low Scarabeo one. But it's very sensuous. Like, it's not full on, it's not as like sexy as like the tarot of the same moniker is, but it does what it does, you know? And it has a distinctive energy about it. There are flaws, obviously. Lots of things that could have been done other ways, but I think until there's another deck that kind of fits in that space, that fits better for me, that one's gonna be the one. Alrighty, and of course, we had to pull out Botticelli for the spring, because why not? Botticelli's artwork with, again, the mythical themes. Where's the backs? Sorry. With the mythical themes, with its shiny, golden, eye-catching energy. Perfect for this time of year. So this is a great one to mix with all of our mythology oracles. Even the tower card's nice. Like, that's not so bad. They'll be fine. I love this one. This is a little low Scarabeo mass market deck. Stunningly beautiful, adorned, gilded. Lines up with the tarot pretty well. This is one you kind of want to have a little bit of a solid understanding of your own personal meanings for the cards for, but it's nice. We're not mad about it. And of course, the world is Venus. Being born, or Aphrodite, well, both. I learned recently. Not recently? Did I know this? Anyway, I was watching a documentary, as one does, about Cyprus, and it showed the beach on Cyprus, where specifically, like, there's an actual beach on an actual island in the middle of the Mediterranean, where supposedly that was where Aphrodite washed up on shore, where beauty was birthed from the sea of her castrated father, Sky Daddy himself. So anyway, a beautiful myth, and I love that there's like a physical place that in theory I could go to if I really wanted to deepen my relationship with that particular face of the divine feminine. So absolutely fantastic. Okay, that's a Botticelli tarot, a springy boy for sure. Speaking of the raw power of the elements, this time of year we've got Davis of Creations coming out. This one's been on hiatus for a little while. It's been having a break. It had been on my altar for like 2 years straight up until then, but it was time to kind of take a step away in the fall. But I think it's time for it to come back and get back to its full-time job of giving me daily guidance. But it's beautiful, it's very energetic, very elemental in a both earthly and cosmic kind of way. It's like my everything deck. The best way to describe it is, what's in this deck? Everything. From, you know, the smallest little bees to the biggest planets and galaxies are all in here. It does above and below, within and without. It's kind of a really fluid through line of all of my favorite major spiritual concepts. It's beautiful to look at. It has challenging cards as well. And it just always seems to know how to say the right thing. On its trees, by the way. There's lots to go on in the book. I don't know, this one's just great. This is an indie deck by Conway. I'm pretty sure it's still available. I haven't checked. I've been using it for so long now. But it's a fave forever. Always and forever. Oops, this one. It's card number 2. Hard to see, but yeah, there you go. There's Lots in it. Oh, and we'll leave you with this one at the end. Beautiful. Oof. Great. So that one's coming out. Devas of Creation. Not to be mistaken for the multi-dimensional Devas, which is, I've got that one too. It's okay. But I still like this one better. This one, it does more. It's more all-purpose, and it's not like you can mix them together. You've got to use them separately, and it doesn't feel as complete using the other one. This one is it. And alongside it, this is a deck that also, it needs to come out this time of year, but it also, do I want to say that this one, it's in a trial phase. It's not a trial, I've had it for ages, but it's like, it's being tested right now, just to see. I know it's fantastic, I know it's beautiful, and I should love it as much as I love the Devas of Creation. It's by the same creator, the Silicon Way, Shimmering Veil Tarot. But I don't know, I just don't pick it up for one reason or other. So this spring, it's going to come out, it's going to come into rotation. I'm going to use it, I'm going to see if it's going to stay. And I'm pretty sure it will. But I don't. But I like it a lot. And when it first came out, and when I first managed to get my grubby little paws on it, it was the only kind of deck kind of like this, other than maybe the Margaret Peterson, which again is its own beast, which should she come out as well? I don't want to overwhelm myself. She's kind of an all-the-time deck too, not specifically spring, but Shimmering Veil feels springier. But yeah, it was really the only kind of deck that did what this one did. It was really unique, other than her oracles. So, but in a tarot structure, it's just fantastic. So I don't know, and I think when I want to pull for a Silicon Way deck, I usually actually go for her other one, the Intuitive Tarot, instead, which is not a part of this video. I'm just using it for reference, but I'll pick that one over this one, and I think I need to give this one a more fair chance to win my affections in a more tangible, practice-based way, because some of the interpretations of the cards are really fantastic. And when I did get it, it was really eye-opening, but I don't know if I've grown beyond. I think that's the problem, is I don't know if I've grown beyond it in a tarot sense. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated on this one as time goes by. Keeping in the earthly elemental kind of theme and feel, Sacred Earth by Toni Carmine Salerno, Leela J. Williams, and artwork by Helena Nelson Reed. This is so fun. I love this deck. I've had this one for ages, and she just sings in the springtime. And I think it's the art that does it, but it's one that's not too heavy. Doesn't ask much of me. I don't ask much of it. It lends itself nicely to playing alongside tarot in a simple kind of way. It's very colorful. It's pretty colorful for me. I'm not, as I'm sure you may or may not have noticed, I'm not really a big into bright and colorful decks. I've got a few, and there's a time and a place for them, but the vast majority of my decks lean either neutral in tone or on the darker, blacker, black and white even side. So something like this really stands out amongst everything else as being a riot of color. But that makes it special, which I appreciate. And again, the Scylla decks do have that color aspect to them too, so. But I like this one. I'm never mad when it comes out. So I think this spring would be a good time to spotlight it, give it some play. It's really gentle, really simple, earth-focused deck, and there's a bunch of different meanings in the guidebook that I do like. I like to read there's an earthly meaning, and then there's a more spiritual take on it, and then there's some insights about how that energy relates specifically to the physical processes of the earth, which is kind of nice. Am I doing it right? I think so. Am I showing you the same cards again? I don't know. But you get the gist. It's nice. It's an oracle deck. Perfect for this time of year. A joy and a treasure. And I'm gonna give it a go. It's in the basket. She's in the basket for right now. So Sacred Earth, Tony Carmine Salerno is in the basket. There's another little bit of, there's a path. There's a road opening up in front of me that I have not gone down in any meaningful way before. And I'm like so nervous, but I'm also so excited. And I'm also not sure how much I want to talk about it right now. But just know that so far we're in the like excited, like dating the idea kind of phase. And I'm really open to meeting it where it is and seeing kind of how it's going to work in the life and routine and setup that I've got going on. So I thought because of that thing that's coming, I'm going to prepare myself with this other thing, which is this thing. How many times can we say the word thing in a mere set of moments? This is the Prophet Oracle, which I love. Like, based on Khalil Gibran's, I guess it's by Khalil Gibran because it's his illustrations and his quotes from his book in this. This is just the most beautiful, really openly spiritual oracle that is just so nice. And it's perfect for this time of year. So those are the backs. Oh, my nose is so itchy. What does it mean when your nose is itchy? Does it mean someone's thinking about you or no? It means something. What does it mean? Tell me what it means. But this oracle is so nice. So the guidebook is just snippets from his book. The guidebook meaning is the messages that come from his book, The Prophet. The Prophet is so small. I think the whole thing is written in the back of this guidebook. So if you wanted to read The Prophet, it's in there. I think that technically means I have 3 copies of the book. Is that true? Did I just make... No, I'm pretty... Is that... Yeah. It's written. The whole thing is written in the back of here. I think. Pretty sure. Unless that's an abbreviated version. But if it is the whole version, that means I have 3 copies of that book. In 3 different form factors. I've got the little one, which is this guy right here. And I have his collected works, which is this guy. Which is huge. But he's got a lot of poetry and other writings in here too that are just so nice. Just fun to read. I don't know, they make my brain feel nice. Get in there. So I think that all started with this deck. It has some landscape cards if you're not a fan, but they're beautiful. His artwork is stunning, and the messages are just so nice. For example, this one. In the dew of little things, the heart finds its morning. Friendship. So nice. And this one. The light that lingers becomes the shadow to another light. Freedom. So they've all got little categories that they fall into under the chapters of the book. Come and be one of us, the farewell. Enter the temple invisible. So it's just, and you can take it as literal or as figurative or as metaphorical as you want. It's you. It's you interpreting these. You get to experience them within the confines of your life, and it's just so nice. Your joy is your sorrow unmasked. Oh, and there's just so much to jump off of using tarot as well. Like they're almost prompts in their own right. So great to work with, and I think it's going to be a wonderful time to tuck back into that guy this time of year. For sure. Okay, and then the last, of course, definitely not least, is the fairy deck pile. There has to be a Fae deck pile. There just has to be. So So it's time. We gotta bust out the Fae deck. So we're gonna start off with Tarot of the Fairy Folk, which I had a pretty hardcore love affair with in the fall, and we're back at it. We're back, baby. I love this one. It really, this is the deck that matches the Brian Froud Fairies Oracle the best. No questions asked. It does. The little, I love the fake creatures. It feels foresty, it feels whimsical, it feels fantasy, but it's also serious. It's not too fluffy. I don't even mind the pips. They're fun, little, like, I think they called it illustrated pips, but it's kind of, you know, that, but the majors are stunning. It's just a mood. A good mood. Oh, I love this Judgment card. Oh, I love it. So good. It's like, wake up. Wake up, wake up. Fire's back, babes. Even little bunnies on it. It's perfect for this time of year. And there's even some fun little, like, astrological, like, things hidden in the imagery. There's I think this has a lot more to offer than you know, you would notice at face value. You know? There's even some weird stuff, like this card. What even is that? It's got like a reptile tail coming out of his butt. What does that mean? You may know. Based on if it shows up in a reading for you. But oh, and we'll end on this one because this one's super fun. The Strength card, because why not? Wrestling a frog. Amazing. So, Tarot of the Fairy Folk, little Los Scarabeo guy. Who does this one? Oh, Jacinto, Cadenzi, and Rachel Paul. And ooh, these are the backs. It's important. The backs are important. I always have. I've been burned once or twice. I bought a deck while not seeing the backs, and it ruined it. But that's just a weird me thing. But a deck has to have nice backs. How hard is it to mess up the backs of a deck? Anywho, speaking of Brian Froud Fairies Oracle, it's here. This is just a weird thing I do. I wrap the top of it really tight so they don't get out. Like I tie like a knot around the top so they don't get out. Unless I want them to. Because this is pure, this is Fae energy at its most tricksy. Oops, I guess. But this, I don't need to say too much about this one. She's infamous at this point, but Brian Froud knew how to capture the absolutely like incontainable energy of the Fae in so many different ways, and it's perfect. And the guidebook Write Up Meetings, who wrote, what's her name? Jessica Macbeth. Jessica Macbeth's guidebook meetings for Brian Froud's artwork is a match made in fairyland, and it's perfect. So, oh, this one, the Bright Mother. A perfect card to welcome in this particular season. But again, we've got a wide range of different characters, challenging cards, soothing, holding, healing, and nurturing cards, motivating cards, cards of reflection and pause, cards of connection. Like, this has got it all. There's technically different suits, not really suits, but chapters, categories within the guidebook that separate them all into their little clans or groups, which really add an extra level to the way they show up for you. So anyway, I'm thrilled about putting this one back into rotation for this time of year. And I you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say this now, so I specifically do it. Every spring, when the violets start to bloom, I pick a whole bunch of them, and I make an offering of them to this, like, old rotten tree portal that I've got on my front lawn. And I think I'm going to bring this deck with me this time when I do that, and do a reading at the same time with this, to have a chat to them. So I'm going to do that. specifically. These are the backs as well. Reversible. Amazing. Hey, Brian Frad Fairies Oracle. Had to. Couldn't not do it. Second to last, For Hawks of Tarot. This is by MJ Cullinane. This is the indie edition, but there is a mass market edition by Hay House right now. Highly recommend if you like it. Definitely go that route. I forget what it was I anointed this with, but whatever it was, it's a wonderful combination that smells like tree, and it smells so nice. I've edged it in a beautiful teal, the backs, and this is another kind of Fae energy deck that takes place in this specific land of Forhaxa, and carries the energy of the tarot through it, and I think it's just a beautiful one for this time of year. I say spring. I know a lot of people think it has some wintry cards in it. It has some fall. It kind of covers all the seasons, this one. But I don't know. It's spring for me. It's spring for me, guys. So she's gonna come out, and we're gonna use her as well. Maybe I'll bring that one and the Fairies Oracle, or maybe just the Fairies Oracle. I don't know. I don't know how much work I want to do at the time. We'll have to see. But there she is. The Empress card, so beautiful. I like the texture, and it's a fun use of color. It's definitely, I wouldn't want too many decks that looked like this. I feel like this one fits for me. That's all I want. Don't want any more. You know, it does its job. I wouldn't want to inflate this category too much. But in art style wise, I think, you know, having one or two, which kind of feels outside of my own personal aesthetic, but it sits really nicely. I think it's gonna be so fun to use for this time of year. Even just like going through it right now, you can feel the earthiness coming out. Like each of these little fairies represent a part of the earth. Like look at this one. She's literally, this is the Knight of Pentacles. She's a mushroom that's in its like flowering, fruiting phase. Not that mushrooms have flowers, but you know what I mean. So yeah, very excited about this one coming out. Oh, and here's the world. Beautiful. Oh, it's an atmosphere. This is a very atmospheric deck. It sets a mood. It's just nice. It's pretty. It's really girly. Like there's no, these fairies are all feminine. These are all female fairies. Not a man among them, which is usually not my jam. I like a good balance of both. But I guess this is the exception that proves the rule. So that's the For Hawks of Tarot. The last one that's coming out, going into the spring basket this year, is an oracle deck that I've come to really enjoy. This is the Queen Mab Oracle. I've been using it for a while, on and off. When she comes out, she's got strong things to say, and that's great. And then other times, we just go our own merry little way. But Mrs. Queen of the Fae, when you think of the speech from Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, she's one not to be messed with. And I love that energy from a Fae perspective, you know? It adds a little bit more weight and seriousness to the way that the Fae energy shows up in your life. There's a few cards that are a little bit, that were done by a different artist. So like the majority of them are by one, and then there's I think 3 or 4 done by another, which is fine. It doesn't actually bother me that much. But just heads up, to be known. Watch a walkthrough if you're curious beforehand. But some of them are just stunningly beautiful, and it really is it's an empowering deck. Gets me off my bullshit. Is what this one does. If I'm bullshitting myself, this will tell me that I'm bullshitting myself, and that I should snap out of it. And this is what I should do instead. So it's a good one. It's, I think the closest Oracle deck that I have that's the same kind of energy is the Sacred Rebels, but it's definitely a different beast than the Sacred Rebels Oracle. I think. And it has an extra level of darkness about it that the Sacred Rebels doesn't have. Sacred Rebels feels more neutral. And this has some nice positive and then some dark, or not positive, but like lighter lights and darker darks, right? This one has a bigger spread of message and meaning. And this is another all-female one as well. So we're, or at least female presenting anyway. I'm in a place where I'm trying to embrace more openly the energy of the sacred feminine, because I do tend to lean on the sacred masculine. I just do. Always have. We love a goddess, but there's something about the way I connect to the sacred masculine that needs balancing out, I think is what I need to say. Yeah, personally, needs more balance. So we're working on integrating a little bit more of the sacred feminine into the way I do things, how I practice, and all that jazz. And I'm hoping the results of that will be a little bit more balance felt in daily life. So anyway, Queen Mamba Oracle. Congratulations, you've got that job now. Not really. I've got a few others that are, we'll see. We'll see if I end up talking about it later, but stuff's happening. Also, there's a lot of words in this book. Mind you, was there a page and a half? Maybe the paper's just thicker. But that's all right. It's an oracle. I feel like most of the message, the keyword on it and the image kind of give me most of the message for this one, as opposed to relying too heavily on the guidebook. But sometimes there is some like gems to be mined in there. So it's like do or don't. It happens how it happens, but I'm not chained to the guidebook with this one by any means. So there we have it. The spring 2024 deck list for what I'm planning on working with as the, next few months roll along. And I'm excited about it. I like it's a good spread. We got mythology, which I love. We got the Fae, which I love. And I think if I didn't make a specific point to focus on those things for this time of year, I'd be really disappointed in myself if I didn't, and then the time moved past and I'd be like, oh dang, it would have been great to do that then. So we're making an intentional choice to bring in the elemental earth energy, the Fae, and mythology, as well as the lingering depths of the underworld at the same time. And that's the vibe right now. So hope you've enjoyed. Let me know down below if you have any questions specifically about any of the decks, if you'd like a specific walkthrough on any of them, or anything. Just, or just say hi. Leave me a comment just saying hi if you made it to the end. But it's up to you, obviously. You do you. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a fantastic spring, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!